Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a lot of topics to cover today, including a massive leak that has to do with the Nintendo Switch's successor. We also have some new Nintendo rewards that look kind of interesting. We have new Game Pass games, and the Luna finally gets a launch. But before we get into this and a whole lot more, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content on this channel. Now let's get started. So our first article comes today from Bleeping Computer. A hacker group has reportedly claimed responsibility for last week's NVIDIA cyber attack, and the source code for the company's popular DLSS technology could be among the data allegedly stolen. Now, while on its face this doesn't necessarily seem like a big story from the Nintendo standpoint, as these files that were stolen got spread around the internet, people started to notice that there was a reference to NVN2, specifically a folder and a DLSS driver. Now, that seems like that doesn't really tell us much, but NVN was the API that was developed by NVIDIA for the Nintendo Switch. So this leak would indicate that there is code in there for the Switch 2. Now, this article from Bleeping Computer doesn't talk about the NVN2 folder, but I've seen this referenced by several people online, and at this point I'm not going to link to any of that, but this does seem to confirm what we were hearing from, I believe, Bloomberg, that there was going to be a Switch Pro or Switch 2 announced, and then we ended up getting the OLED model. So is this leak groundbreaking? Not really. We really don't know any more than what we've been hearing rumored before. But now through this leak, we kind of have confirmation that there is a Switch Pro or Switch 2 coming, and it is going to use DLSS. Now, as far as timeline goes, I'm not sure if we're going to see that this year or next year. It's really hard to tell from this leak. Many of the people who were analyzing this leak did seem to indicate that this was fairly far along. Now, obviously, Nintendo's not going to be very happy about this because there would be concerns that it's going to hurt current gen Switch sales. I'm not really convinced of that. I think people who are going to buy a Switch are going to buy a Switch. But tell me what you think. Do you think we'll see this Switch Pro or Switch 2 this year or maybe next year? Drop a comment and let me know. And while we're on the topic of Nintendo has announced that you can earn rewards through doing missions in the Nintendo Switch Online app. Coming from the Nintendo website, it states, visit the new mission and rewards section of the Nintendo Switch Online app on your Nintendo Switch system. You'll find a list of missions you can complete simply by doing things you're probably already doing with your Nintendo Switch Online membership. And as you can see from the screenshot here, you can earn different rewards from doing things like playing one of the NES games, backing up your save data, and some of these rewards are for each week, and then some of them may be for a month's time. You can see here that this one is just for once per week, and in their instructions it states, after you've completed one of these missions, just head back to the Nintendo Switch Online app to collect your Platinum points, which you can redeem for digital wallpapers, physical items from the My Nintendo store, and new member exclusive icon elements you can collect and put together to create a new user icon. So they have a really interesting information here on the Nintendo Switch Online app that shows you how this works. You basically have a background, a character, and a frame, and you can cash in your Platinum points to get each of these and then put it together to create your new icon. Now, these rewards are going to be changing every week, specifically on Mondays. And it looks like once you unlock an element of one of these icons, you've got it from then on out. You don't have to spend points every time you want to change your icon. Say, for example, you unlock this red background. You'll have that red background to create new icons in the future without having to spend any more points to reacquire it. And starting this week, you've got Super Mario Odyssey and Animal Crossing icons. So keep an eye on this, check back every Monday and see which new icons you may be able to unlock, and let me know if there's any that you unlock that you enjoy. Next, we've got some new upcoming Game Pass games that have been announced. So starting today, we have far, Changing Tides, and Microsoft Flight Simulator Cloud version. Coming on March 3rd, we have Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII, and on March 10th, we've got Kentucky Route Zerp, Lawn Mowing Simulator, Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy, and Young Souls. And I'm going to get back to the Guardians of the Galaxy in just a minute. But first, I want to know what's leaving on March 15th. We're going to lose Nier Automata, I believe you pronounce this one Fongs, Torchlight 3, and Surge 2. So Nier is one of those that I never did get around to playing, so if I'm going to do it, I guess I need to do it now, or I guess I'll just pick it up sometime in the future. Going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, it was just a few weeks ago that Square Enix in their financial report said that Guardians of the Galaxy had undershot their expectations. They go on to expand that they did increase some sales by, I guess they call sale initiatives, which basically means they discounted the game way down, especially during Black Friday. So obviously Square Enix was looking for more ways to get some money out of this game, and going to Game Pass is one of those ways. This does make me wonder how many other companies will have game sales that are kind of disappointing that will try to get things onto Game Pass more quickly than they may have considered in the past. But obviously, if you haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy, I highly recommend it. I did pick it up during the Black Friday sales, and it was something that was really overlooked. The game has a great narrative, it's entertaining, the gameplay is great, although I did have some frame rate issues on the last few levels. But you do have a performance mode in the options, so that can kind of help alleviate that. But let me know what you think. Did you play this game? Are there any other games on Game Pass you're interested in? Let me know in the comments below. And while we're on the topic of subscription services for gaming, Amazon has finally made their Luna streaming platform available to everyone. Before it used to be sort of an invite only, and now you can see they've got multiple tiers that you can subscribe to. They've got the Luna Plus, which seems to be sort of a mixture of different genres of games. They've got a family one. They've got a retro subscription, which looks kind of interesting. Has a lot of 2D fighter games and side-scrollers. They have an Ubisoft Plus that has a bunch of Ubisoft games, and one dedicated to Jack-in-the-Box games. Now, if you're already an Amazon Prime member, you do get access to sort of monthly trials. So for March, you have Devil May Cry 5, Observer, System Redux, and PHOGSI. I'm not real sure how you pronounce that. And then also Flashback. Now, Immortals Phoenix Rising is only in there for a week, and that's going to be from March 8th to March 14th. Now, the prices that they have listed on their main page is only good until April 1st, and they're kind of giving you a chance to subscribe and get a discount. So eventually the Luna Plus will be $9.99, and the Family Channel will be $5.99. So if the Luna service is something you were interested to try out and you're already a Prime member, you can just go ahead and give it a whirl and see what you think. And I like this idea from Amazon and the fact that they've already got a lot of people who are subscribed to Prime, and this gets you a chance to sort of try the service out at really no additional buy-in. Now, they've also got the option that you can use like your phone as a virtual controller, but I don't think I'll ever be doing that. I honestly need tactile feedback from buttons in order to understand where my thumbs are. Now, this also has Twitch streaming integrated in it, so you can go from the interface and just start streaming right away, and that's all through the cloud. So if you tried this service out, let me know what you think. Being backed by AWS, I think, is a big plus for this service. And the fact that you already have a lot of Amazon Kindles out there, as well as Fire Sticks, this could be a good alternative for cloud gaming for someone who doesn't have a console or a PC that's up to spec to be able to play some of these games. Now let's take a look at some interesting sales information. Now this comes from Amper Analysis, and it states, consumer spending on game console hardware, games, and game services grew to a record high in 2021 and reached $60 billion. The games console market remains in rude health, with Ampere forecasting it to grow again in 2022 to over $61 billion. Although the 2021 market performance reached new heights, it was held back to an extent by the lack of availability of the latest consoles. The increase in spending was driven by higher-priced new consoles available to the market and increased adoption of subscription services such as Microsoft Xbox Game Pass. So they have this nice chart here that goes through the 2020, 2021, and then a forecasted 2022 spending. But one of the more interesting charts is this one here on game services versus game content. So at this point we're seeing 19% of game revenue coming from subscription services. Now this includes Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and Nintendo Switch Online. And this is up from 15% in 2020. Now the next chart I find to be the most surprising. This shows a breakdown of physical game content versus digital games, and that's excluding those services. So 2021 was the first time that packaged game sales dropped below 30%, and this trend is expected to continue in 2022. This article here predicts that we could see probably only about 25% of games sold being physical. Now I am a person that prefers a physical copy if I can get one, but I can kind of see where this comes from because there's been many a times I've seen a digital game for sale for $5 and I just go ahead and pick it up. It may be even a game that I've played before, but I just don't own a copy of it. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you buy a lot of physical games, or are you more on the digital side? Or maybe you just buy whatever you get it the cheapest for? Now finally, for our last topic, this is building on one that I've talked about in the past, and it has to do with the Intellivision Amico. So Intellivision had started another backer campaign, and the Ars Technica Technology Culture editor made an interesting note. This campaign ended today, 2 months ahead of original close date, at about 1% of its target fundraising goal. My guess is Intellivision realized investment momentum had frozen, they get money sooner if they conclude, and claiming/spending this money is the last step before bankruptcy filing. I have a feeling that pretty much all three of these are true. Most likely the company knows it's going to go bankrupt, and this is a last-ditch effort to grab the cash out before they have to completely cancel the campaign. So this is really unfortunate because I thought this was a neat idea, but it seems like it's just poorly handled. But hey, for game collectors out there, if you get a hold of one of these prototypes, you're going to have a sweet little collector's item. And that's all we have for today's topics. It really was like drinking from a fire hose today, a whole lot of things to cover. But tell me what interests you the most. Do you think we're going to see the Switch's successor, the Pro or Switch 2, come out this year? And if you're a person that likes to get the Nintendo rewards, are you happy you have a new way to earn them? Were there any Game Pass games that interest you? And if you're going to try out the Luna because you already have a Prime membership, let me know what you think about it. And were you really shocked as I was to see the percentage of digital games versus physical game sales? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this and any of the other topics. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.